You don't have to feel like you have to blend in. What's up, Flourish fam? Thanks for tuning into this video. If you're new here, I'm Dolores and welcome to Flourish with Dolores. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to ace your next virtual interview, right? Because we are in a season where everything is remote, everything is virtual, but I want to make sure you still know how to make a great impression regardless of the circumstances. So that sounds good. Let's go right in. All right, number one, make sure that your internet is stabilized and controlled and your computer is charged. So if your computer is not charged, hopefully you would have charged it the night before, but if it's not charged, make sure that when you're sitting at your computer, it's charging in the moment. So you have it charged and ready to go so it won't die while you're on the call. Because if it dies and you get locked out of that interview, they may not give you an opportunity to continue because it shows you weren't prepared. Also, with stabilizing your internet, everybody got different situations. I'm not judging it, but sometimes when you have other people in your home using the internet, that can mess with your connection. So tell the folks in your home, hey, everybody get off Instagram or whatever you're doing for the next 45 minutes so I can have this opportunity to do my best in this interview and that the internet connection doesn't get cut off. So try to have that conversation with your family or whoever you're living with that you need to be in a nice, quiet, uninterrupted space, and hopefully everyone can lay off the internet so that you have good, stable connection. Tip number two is to set up your software ahead of time. So whether they are interviewing you via Teams or Google Meets or Zoom, whatever form, make sure you set it up ahead of time just in case your computer doesn't have that specific app downloaded, such as Zoom. You want to set that up ahead of time, and as you're setting it up, test your mic and your video, make sure that's working, and also assess your background. So this is actually the view from my Zoom. So you can open up your Zoom, let's say that's what the meeting is on, and open up your personal room, and you'll be able to see exactly what they see. That way you can control what the view is during the interview that you want them to see. And you want to make sure that it's a nice clean background. It's not too distracting, but still shows a little bit of your personality. There's nothing wrong with showing your personality, right? Because people want to work with humans that have some sort of personality, and be true to whatever that personality is. Number three is to be engaged. Look inside the lens. So your camera light, that green light that turns on in your camera, make sure you're looking right in it. A lot of times we get distracted and we're looking at the boxes or other people, or me personally, I'm usually looking at myself during meetings. So you want to make sure you're looking right at the lens. So this is me looking at the lens of the Zoom, and it looks like I'm giving you direct eye contact, even though I can't see clearly the people that I'm speaking to, but they're going to get the view that you are making direct contact and you're engaging with them. While you're doing that, the next tip is to make sure that you're checking your nonverbals. As you can see, I'm sitting up straight. I look engaged. I look interested. I'm also leaning in. Ladies, make sure you lean in. Do not be afraid to. Show the power and the confidence that you have within yourself. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be looking around like you have something else going on in the house or something you'd rather be doing more. You want to be engaged, poised, and looking like you're ready to go for the interview. Tip number 5 is to have your elevator pitch about yourself ready to go. So I know the tell me about yourself question is probably the most challenging question for all of us, because we're like, I mean, where do you want me to go with it? You want me to tell you about personal life? You want me to tell you about how I'm going to be as a professional, or what you want to know? What do you want to know from me? I like to mix a little personal, but really I'm focused on who I am in terms of this job or the job that I'm trying to get. So if you're applying for a job at Dunkin' Donuts and they ask you, first question, tell me about yourself. The way I would answer it is, well, I was born in Ghana and I didn't have Dunkin' Donuts in Ghana, but when I moved to the States and had my first donut from Dunkin' Donuts, oh my gosh, it was so delicious. My family absolutely loved it, and I would love to work at Dunkin' Donuts to give people that same feeling I had when I tried my first donut. I want to really make sure I give great customer service to continue that joy, because America does run on Dunkin'. So that's a little cheesy. I incorporated a little bit about myself. I talked about where I'm from, but then I went right back to how I would be excited to work at the job and what that would mean for me on a personal level. I hope that makes sense. Comment below if it does, but definitely make sure that you're practicing your elevator pitch. And hey, if these tips are helpful to you so far, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. Tip number 6, so although we're remote, that is no excuse to not do your research on the company. So depending on the kind of job and the level of job you're looking for, personally, I like to look at the company's strategic plan. I like to look at their annual reports. If you can find it online, look at those and then see if you can pick out 1 or 2 things that speak to you. And those are the things that you can use to talk about why you're really interested in the job. Or you can compliment them on something that you found in their strategic plan that resonates with you, that you want to be a part of in that company. So sorry, y'all. The footage for tip number 7 got lost, but it's still so important. I want you all to know to make sure that you prepare at least 1 or 2 initiatives that you would bring to the table if you were hired for the job. This is going to show that you did your research and you're a really serious candidate who cares and is already seeing what you can contribute to the company. So please do tip number 7. Tip number 8 is to be mindful of your appearance. So you want to feel good and look your best. So I would go a little lighter on makeup if you're going to choose to wear makeup. So personally, I would skip the eyelashes, skip the contour, just do your makeup very, very light where you still feel good and presentable, but it's not too distracting. The other thing is, I've seen some folks say try to stick to black or grays or whites for what you wear. I personally think it's really nice when you can add a pop of color to your attire. So for example, this purple blazer, if you have a brooch, you can get a brooch and put that on with the black blazer. If you want to stick with the black, gray, and or white, the brooch adds a really nice touch. So something that just kind of gives a little pop of personality. You don't have to feel like you have to blend in like everyone else. Tip number 9, one of the worst things you can do is not have questions prepared for the committee. So when they ask, do you have any questions for us? You want to make sure that you have at least 2 questions written down. One easy one towards the end of your questions could be asking them the timeline, when you can expect to hear back. But then you also want to ask a question that relates to maybe some research that you did, something that you found in their mission statement or their plan that you want more clarification on. You can also ask what their expectations are or what their current challenges are that they hope to have alleviated by the successful candidate. So you can definitely think of questions, but do not sell yourself short by not asking questions. Not asking questions comes off as you're not interested in knowing more or continuing the conversations. You want to think of at least 2 questions that you have prepared. I would go for 3 if you can, and just be mindful of the time if you're going to ask all 3 or if you're going to just ask 1 or 2. Then the last one is, do not forget to send a thank you email. So in that thank you email, if you can, write each person who interviewed you a unique email. I mean, the standard of it can be the same, but you want to add at least 1 or 2 points that resonated with something that that specific person said during the interview. I really miss our pre-COVID days, because what I would do to set myself apart would be to write a handwritten thank you. So right after my interview, I'd go to my car and write a handwritten thank you to each person who interviewed me that day. I feel like that would set me apart, and then I would go and hand it off to the administrative assistant or someone who can disseminate it to everyone who interviewed me. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now with COVID-19, and I honestly wouldn't recommend mailing it, because 1, you don't know if they're working from home or how long it's going to take to get to them. And again, you want them to see your letter of thanks sooner rather than later. So a couple hours or a few hours after your interview, make sure you send that thank you email and add why that interview was so awesome for you, or why you think it's a great fit even after completing the interview. By the way, if you're looking to work one-on-one with someone to help you get ready for an interview and you'd like to hire me, I'd love to work with you. You can feel free to email me at hello@flourishwithdolores.com, and I will get you ready to ace that interview. All right, that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. I'm wishing you the best of luck on your interview. I know you're gonna ace it. And regardless, remember that God's got you, and the best thing will happen for you. What's yours will be yours. And my prayer for you is that His will be done. So That's it for me for today. I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. In the comments below, let me know if this was helpful for you, and feel free to throw in an interview tip that I may have not mentioned that you want to contribute to the community. Thank you for watching. Peace.